What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we have apparently come to the end of an era. The FN SCAR has been discontinued. The last one apparently rolled off the assembly line, and when they're gone, they're gone. And FN is kind of, from what I have found out, if you guys know anything different, let me know in the comments down below. But from what I have been able to find out, it doesn't sound like they're going to support it with parts or anything else for very long, if at all. That's kind of shady. I've heard reports say, nope, they're not going to give it any support with any spare parts. And I've heard some reports that said, yeah, they will for a little while. But all we do know as of right now is this gun has been discontinued. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in this video. Talk about a couple of things at the SCAR. This is my SCAR. You've seen it on the channel before. I don't know if I've done a full review of this rifle. Everybody kind of knows what the SCAR is. It's iconic. But this was one of the, let me give you a little bit of background. This was one of the very first SCARs. I mean, I bought it right when it dropped. I was saving my money. I said, as soon as that sucker drops for civilian purchase, and I think back in like 06, 07, somewhere around there, as soon as it drops, I'm buying it. And boy, they dropped, I want to say, oh gosh, all those years ago, it would have been, what, 18 years now? Oh my, yeah, wow. As soon as it dropped, I want to say I got it from AIM Surplus for, at the time, around $3,100. So looking at the prices now, maybe they're just blowing them out, but they didn't go up that much, but they did go up in price. But like I said, I had to be the first dude on the block with one, because I was shooting 3-gun at the time. I used to shoot this in 3-gun competitions and all this other kind of stuff. That was before I added this Midwest Industries rail. That only went on, I don't know, years ago, decade maybe after. I forget when I put this on. It was probably 20, yeah, maybe a decade or so. I added the extended rail on there. But yeah, there's the SCAR with its iconic 7 shades of baby poop, flat dark earth. I can't even tell you how many rounds I've put through this sucker. This is one of my favorite rifles. It always has been. I had the 308 version in black too. I really wanted the flat dark earth one, but the gun store I was at only had it in black. And the wife is like, if you want to buy a gun now, you don't say no to that. You buy the gun. You forget about the color. And I shot maybe 200 rounds out of that thing, and it kind of just sat in the safe. And I ended up, that was one of the guns I ended up selling to fund my PRS, my precision rifle, my AI that I bought. I kind of always wanted one, but I wanted it in the flat dark earth. Actually, you could tell this is an older one because the reciprocating charging handle. Apparently, the new ones, I don't know when they switched over to that. If you know, apparently the new ones do not reciprocate, because that was a complaint. I never found it. If you, it's kind of like with an AK, you can switch it to this side if you want. Obviously, I have it on that side. I never found it to be an issue. I did, however, find it to be a small issue when I had like EOTechs on this thing, and the EOTech would stick out. It was fat. It would kind of hang over the side. And then when I would rack it, I would cut my finger on the corner of the EOTech. But you put this up, I've got this Trigicon MRO, and never had that problem. Again, this has been a stupidly reliable rifle for me, and I just love it. I know there's a lot of people hate it, especially because of the price tag. If these were half the price, they probably would have sold, double what they ended up selling. But it just never, I think the intent was probably to replace the M4, and it just never even came close to that commercially or militarily. I'm not going to say it's a failure, but sales-wise, but I know they intended it to sell like for entire armies because that's what manufacturers do, and FN's no different. They want their guns to equip entire Western armies, But the M4 is just so good. and so modular, and just there, it's just, and so cheap compared to this price wise, that you're just not gonna, it never, you know. And I guess the 308 version was used by SOCOM for a while. This is the 5.56 one again. This thing shoots so flat and so nice. I have always loved this. There's been complaints about the UGG boot stock not being kind of fragile and breaking in the field. I don't know. I wasn't operating, so I can't speak to it being under extreme, you know, conditions and falling off mountains and fighting the Taliban and all that kind of stuff. That gun never did this. This gun never did this for me. It was mostly a competition, a 3-gun competition, and a clout gun to be like, I got a SCAR, you know, because, man, playing all the video games, this iconic video game gun. I just think these are always fantastic. I've loved them. But another line of FN guns that kind of just, I don't know, didn't live up to the hype as far as being adopted by militaries. I think this is a ridiculously well-made gun. I think it's, again, it's stupidly reliable. I don't remember ever having issues with this unless it was ammunition related, my reloads. And it's just a freaking great gun. I love it. I know people hate it. That's usually people who've never shot it or never owned one. But again, for the price that they're asking, even as they're blowing them out now at the time of making this video, they're over $3,000, mid threes. And that's just a lot of money for people to swallow, especially nowadays when you can get, when it doesn't do anything better, really markedly better than an M4, and you can pick up, I mean, you could pick up budget PSAs, complete rifles, minus optics for $350, man. And so you could technically buy 10 PSA M4s for the price of this. For the price of this, I would say if you had like $3,500 to spend, that was your gun budget, I would say break off $1,000 to $1,500 for a really nice AR, a Colt, you know, a DDM4, because you can get them for around there. They're a little bit more expensive than that, but sometimes you can get them, you know, I got my Colt M5 for like 15 when it was on a deal. So I would do something like that, throw a ridiculously nice optic on it, ACOG or something like that, and then buy a bunch of ammo, buy all your extras, buy a handgun on top of that. But yeah, if you know, this is just a nostalgia gun, really, from the days of, I mean, heck, we were only, what, 5-6 years into GWAT, and it was getting hot and heavy, and, you know, the video game, every first-person shooter video game had a SCAR in it when it came out. They did. They are great rifles. They shoot very flat. My personal opinion is they shoot better than an AR. Caveat, let me finish before people start blowing up on the keyboard or the texting. A standard AR. If you get a standard SCAR, standard AR, I believe this one shoots. I believe it is a depending on manufacturer, a overall better gun, a cooler, it runs cooler, it shoots flatter. Now, a highly tuned, comparably priced AR to this, no, you're just buying, I think the ARs is, I think when they made the AR-15, they just made it so good. I don't even think they realized how good it was going to be in the future. But there it is. Get you one while you can, because you know how the gun industry goes. As soon as these are all sold out, off the market, that's why I bought a second. Side note here, that's why I bought a second Polish barrel. You know, let me get that. I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is, the Polish barrel. I bought the full package one. Now I have a standard one that I bought, and then I had to buy the rail and all that other kind of stuff. But this one, they were offering the full package, everything, the rail, all this kind of jazz. Stock. This is closest to the military version as you could get. Even got the little crest in laser engraved on there. That was an option for free. Awesome looking. But again, once apparently the Radom plant where this is made in FB Radom, Poland, okay, is discontinued making these because the Polish military has they've gone to their next rifle, the MSBS Grot or whatever I think it is. It's a modernized rifle. And they're not going to make these anymore. I heard a rumor that they offered Arms of America and some of the U.S. market to continue to make these for the U.S. market, but they were going to be so ridiculously expensive that they just said, no, we can't. Just, let them go, discontinue it. But I always wanted the full package one. They didn't have it when I bought the other one. So, again, my point is that sidetrack there that we took is my point is these are going to go up in value ridiculously because there will be no more, just like every other discontinued gun, just like these. So if you've ever wanted one and you got a little extra scratch in this rough economy, I would say go out and get you one. They're fantastic. They are fantastic. Again, I'm going to get it's not better than an AR and it's too expensive. Yes, you're right. It's not. But if you already have a bunch of ARs like I do and you have a bunch of other cool stuff and you want an iconic gun that is just going to go up in price because as soon as people can't have something, they want it. So they're going to go, I want to run out and buy that. My FNC, that thing, that's been discontinued for God knows how long. And they haven't been imported since '89. And I paid through the nose for that thing because I have always wanted an FNC. Does it do anything better than AR-15? No, AR-15 is a better rifle. Again, FNC, I'm gonna do a whole video on FN and their guns. FNC was intended to, I'm sure they wanted all the armies of the West armed with FNCs, but it just didn't do anything that much better than an M16 or an AR-15 did. So there was no point in people. A few countries adopted them. Sweden made it the AK-5, but anyway, there's a side tangent. All of that being said, that now that these are discontinued, go get you one before they're gone. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.